this year, the fourth quarter was a record, and they forecasted a flat year in production. So I think they're involved with 17% of all drilling rigs in the U.S. right now. They're very broad based, in the U.S. They're in every basin, every natural gas, liquids, dry gas, and oil. And it's just it's a good little company and a way to achieve a 10% current yield if you need income. So
And
that's
Robert,
my
do they keep their production flat from acquiring additional royalty interests, or is it just from others drilling on leases that they have an overall royalty on that keeps that production flat?
Yeah, for this year, it's just a strong growth. Last year was a strong, 25 was a strong development year for their properties. So it was
Okay,
the others. But they can't do flat production for 2, 3, 4 years in a row. That's just how
right.
it's working out this year. But it's always better. So every 2 years they try to do a deal to not just replace the reserves but to grow. You know, so and I would say there's probably they've gone about a year without a deal. I would say this year I would expect a deal. And at 14 or 15, that's a good price for their units as far as these guys are concerned. Even though I don't believe it is, but at $15, I wouldn't be surprised to see a deal done with a $14 stock price. To buy more royalties. So on the more exciting area, I recommended a small cap testing conglomerate called Intest. INTT is the ticker, and we did that a few months ago. You can look it up on Twitter. I might have even put a piece on the Wall Street Beats up there, but it's they reported fourth quarter earnings. The stock was in the 7 to 8 range when I started talking about it on the show. I've traded it very successfully in the past. They had good numbers, beat and raise for the fourth quarter in the year. Stock's up to 11 and a half, I believe. INTT is the ticker. Now it's up, $4. It's up over 50% since my purchase and my basis. So people ask me, "What are you doing?" It's up 50%, and I'm not I'm not close to selling it, but I would hope for a dip to buy it because they have good numbers. The year's looking good. They're being very conservative on their outlook, I believe, for calendar 26. And it's about a little more than one-time sales, which is very cheap for semiconductor and testing equipment businesses these days. And they have peers that all trade at 2 and 3 times sales. One trades at 12 times sales. It's crazy. They're run by a con man, in my opinion. But it's still a very cheap stock, and I think on the site I've published that I believe the stock's worth 15 to 17 in a year if they can get their quarterly earnings run rate up to $1. They did 16 cents last quarter. If they get to 25 cents, that's $1 run rate, maybe by the fourth quarter of this year. The semiconductor testing business is funny. Their customers are seeing orders, but these guys they don't make the equipment for semiconductors. They make subsystems that go into other people's equipment. So they're not seeing the orders yet, but they never do. They lag. So the best thing I could do is watch the customers. When the customers say the orders are starting, those stocks double and triple. This company says we don't see it yet, so the stocks lags. And then a quarter or two later, they say, "Oh, we're starting to see these big orders." So this is like the third time this has happened, and it's sort of a pattern. So they gave guidance to 12 to 14% revenue growth in the middle to the upper end of the range, and they said it doesn't include any recovery in semiconductors. But their customers are saying the recovery in semiconductors has already started. So I would suspect that they're being conservative, and by the end of the year, they get the orders from their customers, who then develop the systems and send them to Texas Instruments. Is this company's biggest customer directly and indirectly? So it's still very cheap compared to the peer group, even though it's up about 50% since I bought it a few months ago. So Intest, INTT, good numbers, good stock price, starting to move. Would still buy a fraction of an interest here, but I have a full position, and am happy to sit with what I have and not close to selling it. Would hope to sell it 2 years down the road if the economy holds together between 15 and 20. So that's the price target on that
So as Texas Instruments and Intel go, so goes this stock on a lag basis.
one.